Hello Comics Gate, it's your bud Rorschach here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is Alt Hero issue number 2 by Fox Day, Arkhaven Comics. It's available right now on Amazon Kindle. The subscription to Amazon Kindle costs $7.99 a month. And for $7.99 a month, you can read issues 1, 2, 3 and 4 of this excellent comic book. My problem then is that it's new comic book day tomorrow, or Wednesday. And my routine that I've followed over the last decade, longer than that actually, must be longer than a decade, is to go to the comic book store and pick up the best that DC, Marvel and the Antifa indies have to offer. My problem now is that after reading this comic book, I'm not going to be able to find anything from DC and Marvel and Antifa. I just call the indies Antifa because, well, they're the feeder system for Marvel and DC, and the writers can be as bigoted and as far left extremists as they want in the indies. They've got to hide it somewhat in DC and Marvel. Well, I guess not so much in Marvel nowadays. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how I can go into the comic book store and pick up some. It's just DC that I'm following at the moment. I don't read any Marvel books, and yeah, the Antifa indies are Antifa, so I don't want to give Black Mass Studio any money. How am I going to find any DC comic book that does anything near as interesting as what I'm seeing in this comic book here? It's not going to be possible for me. So I think I've come to an end. I've come to an end of my comic book fandom, because I found something which has given me exactly what I want, and it does not involve me going to my local comic book store. This scene that you see on the screen now, this guy on the right is an illegal immigrant in Europe. See that man in the background? He's going to do the job that the police won't. That's very resonant to me, particularly as over the last week there was a court case which the mainstream media was forced to actually publicise. It didn't really want to, of course. It's been trying to hide the Islamic, Muslim, Pakistani, they even call them Asian now, rape gangs in the UK for over the last decade. The mainstream media hasn't wanted to touch that, and the police haven't wanted to do anything about it. The local politicians haven't wanted to do anything about it. They've tried to ignore it, but it's just simmering to the surface now because of a brave man called Tommy Robinson, who you are all probably aware of. So the information is gradually coming to light that the authorities in the UK have been letting down vulnerable young women, white girls in the UK. Not women, sorry, they're girls, they're very young girls, some as young as 10 years old, and have been abused by people who have been invited into the country by the multicultural consensus political parties that dominate in the UK today, and of course dominate in Europe. So to see a hero in a comic book doing what the police will not do, rescuing this young girl and bringing her home to her family, is absolutely beautiful. Why can't DC and Marvel do this? It's because Marvel, DC and the Antifa indies are fully on board the multicultural agenda consensus. So they cannot show illegal immigrants acting in a villainous way, and they cannot show the truth about how young white girls are being victimised by immigrants into the West who should not be there. And they're not bringing anything to the country except high crime rates and, well, votes for the left, really. So it's amazing to see this being explored in the pages of a comic book. And from there we have these white people wearing black uniforms and red masks who are very familiar to me. Particularly this guy here with his hoopy earrings. You see that kind of guy ranting and raving about racism and sexism on the streets, attacking people whilst the police stand aside and do absolutely nothing. Is that a bike lock in there? Look what happens to these people. The hero in the comic book kicks the crap out of them. Amazing. What else could I possibly ask for in the pages of my comic book? This is everything that I've wanted to see for so long. And I just feel a bit dim, really. This comic book has been out for quite a few months now. This is obviously issue number 2. There's issue number 4, which was released in October. So what am I doing going to the bloody comic book store on Wednesday? Not picking up any Marvel, not picking up any Antifa Indies, but picking up DC comics and expecting DC to do something anywhere near as red-pilled as this. I've been a fool. I've been a fool for too long. It was there all along. The red-pilled comics that I've been calling for exist already. They're called Arkhaven comics. Fox Day is doing what I've been begging the mainstream to do for years now, and it's absolutely amazing to see. I'm not even going to spoil this comic book too much for you. I'll just give you some highlights here. And there's let me give you some context about the plot. It's based in Europe. There's people with superpowers, and the people with superpowers are getting together in a group and fighting back against the United Nations body, which is pushing the same multicultural, open border agenda which the Democrats are in the US today, and all of the political parties in the UK, unfortunately, are including the so-called Conservative Party, run by the traitorous, useless Theresa May. I want to show you a couple of the panels of the ladies in this book, because the artist is absolutely fantastic. This is top quality art, and he's not afraid of portraying females as beautiful and desirable. And look at that bra. There we go, it's a better shot of it. I approve of that. That's the kind of girl that I want. The men in this comic book are the kind of men who, if I was younger, if I was in my teens, I could look up to as heroes, and see them as the kind of person that I'd want to be. And the females in this book are very desirable, but they're very strong, they're very tough as well. So this is not about making females victims. Look at how she reacts here. She's very charming at first, but when she's threatened, she's a kick-ass girl as well. Look at this. This is amazing stuff. When they talk about empowering females, from a leftist perspective, it's of course not about empowering females at all. It's about bringing them into the open border, multicultural, unfortunately for females, single mom, matriarchal welfare state. It's not about empowering women at all. It's making them slaves to the system. And the females you get in this book are genuinely strong, empowered, but they're not perfect. They're believably human. This is a quiet space, and when she's thinking about what's happening to her, and she's letting the tears flow. There's vulnerability there. The female of the species is not supposed to be the strongest. There's supposed to be vulnerability there, because the vulnerability of the females obviously makes males want to help and protect. The left use that against us. They use the weakness of females to insinuate that men just want to exploit, but that's obviously not the case. Men don't want to exploit anybody. Men want to build. They want to build a family, they want to build a society, they want to build a country, and they want to protect what they built. What we got happening in the West at the moment is that everything that's been built over the preceding decades, since the end of the 1940s, has gradually been eroded by the parasites of the left. And they've started to use the empowerment of women to disempower females, to tell men that they're bigoted, they're racist, they're sexist, and to align the state with the empowerment of women, thus disempowering females, disempowering men, disempowering the family unit as a whole, and empowering the state. So the left does not care about empowering women. The left just uses women like they use everybody else. So. Oh, this panel here, I have to say something about this. Can you see that? So it's not all seriousness. It's not all boring politics. This lady is saying, "What? You can't crush, I will cut." And the blokey in the background is saying, "Damn, that's impressive." What's he talking about? I agree with him. That's mighty impressive stuff. Oh, this comic book, man. Oops. Sorry, I got a little bit overexcited there. So, if you want a red-pilled X-Men who are fighting back against the multicultural open border, get all those immigrants into Europe, consensus of the mainstream. It's like that shot of the lady with the mighty bosoms has really shaken me to my core. I don't know where to put my hands. Yeah, if you want a book that's just a red-pilled, exciting comic book where the X-Men are actually acting in that heroic kind of manner, this girl here is a bit like Kitty Pryde, then this is the book that you need to buy. I've got a real, big problem tomorrow when I go to the comic book store, because I'll be looking at the DC books. I don't even look at the Marvel comics anymore. I'm not interested. I see the names of the writers constructing these books. I'll leave it on that panel there, I think. Yeah, I see the name of the writers constructing these books, and I think I don't want to read the poison coming from that guy, and I don't want to read any Bendis, don't want to read any Taylor, don't want to read any, let me think of some Marvel guys, don't want to read any Jeff Lemire, don't want to read any Nick Spencer, don't want to read any of the new people they're bringing into the industry. So the writers, they absolutely disgust me. They're cowardly, they're far left extremists. They're not going to tell you the truth about anything in the world today. They're just going to continue to double down on the far left nonsense. And that's not what you get in the pages of Alt Hero issue number 2. This really is doing everything that I've wanted comic books to do for a long time. And this is going to be the future of comic books as far as this channel is concerned, because I don't want to go to the comic book store and pick up Antifa friendly comic books and then moan about it on my channel, because it's pretty depressing, because you don't see the change in the mainstream that we really need for the comic book industry to progress. The change is coming from the outside. The change is happening right now. Look at the artwork, it's fantastic, and it's coming from our man Fox Day in Alt Hero. Oops, let me click that. Alt Hero. Okay. An X-Men comic, which is doing something that the X-Men comics will never do. So check it out. It's available now on Amazon Kindle, of course. It's available on your Kindle iDevice, on your iPad, your phone. You can read it right now, and you don't have to pay any money straight out. You can do the Amazon Kindle Unlimited thing. Pay the $7.99 at the end of the month, and this is a better way to do it. I think it's a cheaper way of reading comic books. It's going to save you a lot of time going downtown to your local comic book store and getting disappointed by the uselessness, the far left friendly, Antifa friendly, Marxist friendly, Democratic Party supporting crud from the mainstream. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You can just go onto your iDevice and read some Alt Hero. So I'll be reading issue number 3 and issue number 4 in a couple of minutes time. I'd advise you do the same. So I'll leave a link to all this down below. Please check it out right now. It's all available on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. The change that we've been calling for a long time is already here. So there's time to stop complaining and start reading comic books that are actually doing something from a red-pilled perspective that you're not going to get from the mainstream today or tomorrow. So that's all I've got to say for the time being. Thanks for checking out the review. Just like and subscribe to the channel if you'd be so kind. And I'll be back as always later with more reviews from Arkhaven Comics. Cheers, later guys.